Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to this week's episode of Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach and lash educator. And this week I have a guest episode for you with my friend Cassandra. We talked all about bookkeeping and tax preparation as beauty business owners. Now, I feel like taxes are one of the not so fun parts of being a business owner, but obviously a very necessary part of being a business owner. And with the end of the year rapidly approaching, which is actually so crazy to even say because 2023 has gone by so fast, but with the end of the year rapidly approaching and the busy holiday season right around the corner, now is a really good time to sit down and look at your bookkeeping, make sure everything is in check, make sure it's all organized, make sure you have your ducks in a row so that you can enjoy the rest of your year and go into tax season at the beginning of next year ready to party, ready to get those taxes filed correctly. So let me tell you a little bit about my friend Cassandra. So she is a tax professional and bookkeeper with 5 years of experience. She thrives in helping beauty professionals with their business accounting by helping them set themselves up correctly for taxes, organizing their books, and streamlining their processes. Being a mom of 2 and a small business owner herself, she can understand the frustration it is of doing this on your own, and it doesn't have to be that way. She takes a lot of pride in her work and focuses on trying to save you as much as she legally can with taxes and doing things the right way. So I loved this episode. It's very insightful. She shared a lot with us, a lot of tips and tricks and just really actionable things that you can be doing with your bookkeeping just to make sure that things are organized and in check and ready for you to rock and roll for the tax season coming up. So let's jump on into it. Okay, well, welcome to Lash Biz Babes. I'm so happy to have you on today. So first and foremost, if you'd just like to introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the industry.
Hey everyone, so my name is Cassandra. I am a tax professional and bookkeeper that specializes in the beauty industry. So I do both the tax preparation and bookkeeping, and I've been in business for about 5 years now.
I love that. And how did you get started doing that? I feel like a lot of people don't like numbers that much. So
Yeah. And
um,
that's what makes it so funny because a lot of people think that like just because you work with numbers, you like them. But
fair
I
enough.
mean, I don't.
Fair enough. So how did you
Yeah.
get started doing it?
So before my business, I used to be an insurance agent actually. And but I had my first child, and so I wanted to spend more time with my daughter as much as possible at the time because back then I was working like 6 days a week, 10-hour shifts. And I always heard, like tax people only work 4 months. And I know that's not true now, but so that's why I started. And when I first started out, a lot of my clients were people that I knew because I was pretty young. I was 21 at the time when I started. And so a lot of people were like people I went to high school with. And a lot of my female clients were like starting to also do their own businesses and side hustles. And they were all getting into the beauty industry as well, like doing like brows, lashes, skincare, all that good stuff. And I was like, well, since so many of my clients are doing this, I might as well like specialize in this industry because I already recognize all the patterns in it. And so that's why I decided to go with beauty industry.
That's awesome. And I love that you kind of like niche down like that too, because I feel like with different types of businesses, there are just unique things that are like unique to that industry. And I
Right.
always hear people who are looking for those who like specialize in the beauty industry specifically. And I don't feel like there's a lot of those like tax or CPA or bookkeeper professionals that just specialize in that. So I think that that's awesome that you do, you've niched down in that way. So I love it. So first big question for you, um,
Yeah.
because I get this a lot, like questions about taxes and things a lot. So what's the difference between a bookkeeper and a CPA? Because there is a difference there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say the main big difference is that a bookkeeper is solely for keeping your finances accurate and organized and like put together for profit and loss reports to understand how your business is doing. CPAs do a variety of things, and people usually get mixed up because there are a lot of CPAs out there that actually don't do taxes, And so like when it comes to the tax industry, there's a few options that you can go with. There's a bookkeeper, which is someone who does bookkeeping, but they may not do taxes. Sometimes they only do bookkeeping. There's a tax preparer or a professional who is someone that's registered to do taxes, but they're not necessarily a CPA or an EA, if you've ever heard of an EA. And then the CPA has a degree and they are licensed with their state to do accounting. They may or may not do taxes. Usually in the corporate world, when they work for like really big accounting firms, a lot of them don't do taxes. They just mostly do like analyzing and collecting data and doing reports and stuff like that. And then but a lot of CPAs that are not in corporate, sometimes they get into taxes. And then an EA, which is an enrolled agent with the IRS, is actually the highest credential given by the IRS to do taxes. So that one is like a true tax professional. And so, I mean, you can honestly go with either one of those options, but you want to at least have at least both covered, right? Like a bookkeeping and taxes. So you can have someone that does both, or you can have a bookkeeper and then hire a CPA, or a bookkeeper and then hire a tax professional or EA.
Okay, I feel like I just learned a lot because in my brain it was like bookkeeper and CPA, and apparently
Yeah.
there's more than that. So thank you for
Yeah.
explaining that.
No problem.
And so what all do you do? I know you do bookkeeping, but do you do like tax preparation as well? Are you a tax
Yeah.
preparer? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I do tax preparation. So I am registered with the IRS. I have my P10 and everything. I've been wanting to go like to get my EA for a while. For that, we just have to like pass 3 different exams directly with the IRS, and then they give us that credential. But I just been kind of like a little bit too busy to get it done, but I want to get it.
Yeah, well, I feel like taxes have been a little crazier than normal lately, or at least
Oh my
from my
gosh.
understanding, because like my CPA, it's like my one of my really good friends and her husband, they own like a I don't know, an accounting firm, I guess it's called in
Yeah,
Colorado. Anyway, they do all my taxes and they've just been absolutely slammed busy. It's been so crazy with all the changes with the IRS and
yeah.
everything the last few years.
Yeah, it's been like never ending, and it's been pretty much since the pandemic happened. So many things are changing, and they're passing things like in the middle of tax season and all
Oh my
these different
gosh.
things. It's been crazy.
Well, honestly, that is just, in my mind, another reason to hire a professional to do your
Yeah,
taxes as a business owner, because that is all so hard to keep up with as it is, that for me at least, it's so worth the expense because someone else gets to worry about that for you. And you don't have to worry about,
exactly.
oh, if you're doing it correctly or not, because you have a professional doing it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so next question. Why is bookkeeping important to make tax time easier?
So bookkeeping is super important because that means you've already been actively keeping track of all of your income and expenses for your business to produce the reports that you need to do your taxes, like a P&L statement, which is profit and loss. And you can, easily get from your bookkeeper, or if you've been doing it yourself, but you could easily get that report for the entire year. And that's what your tax professional is going to need for the tax return, because we need to know exactly total amount of income that you had. And then we also need to know all of your deductions, and a profit and loss statement will easily organize that for us, because um, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen your profit and loss statement before, right? At the very top, it has the
Yeah.
income. And then below that, it has all the different categories like advertising, supplies,
Mm-hmm.
tools, insurance, professional and legal fees and stuff like that. And it's all added up for the entire year to where we can put that on the tax return for you. And that's why it's super important. And if you're someone that, hasn't been keeping track of that, and just imagine trying to get all your statements from your bank accounts and possibly business credit cards and all these different accounts, getting 12 statements from each one for the whole year and then trying to sift through all of them, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've done both before. It is a real big pain having to try to go through all of it at the end of the year all at once. So yeah, I agree with that for sure, that it makes tax time so much easier, like to just have it done already.
Yeah, exactly. And if you already have that report, you're just like, here's the report. And then,
Yep.
if they want any supporting documents, then you could easily send those statements. But a report is the main thing that we need to do the tax return.
Okay, awesome. I love that explanation because I think sometimes it gets confused, especially for newer business owners who haven't done that before, who may not be aware of like what a profit and loss sheet is, or what
Yeah,
bookkeeping is and such. So I love the good explanation on that there. I think that made it very
yeah.
clear. So with that, what is one of the biggest struggles or mistakes that you see beauty business owners having with their bookkeeping, or I guess with their taxes in general, since you do tax preparation as well?
Yeah, so I mean, the main thing is that I've noticed in the beauty industry, a lot of the women are pretty much new to being a business owner, and also pretty new about like knowing about taxes and bookkeeping in general. And they're not used to having to pay taxes, you know? So many are just used to getting tax refunds, and especially if you have kids, right? And so
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, one thing is that they struggle with is mostly knowing about that, and then also knowing how to do it right, and also commingling funds. Do you know what commingling funds is?
Yes. I'm like, I'm not totally like, I know a lot more now. It's just like
Yeah,
but I mean, that was me when I first started in business. It's like,
yeah,
what am I even doing on this? Which is part of why I hired it out and like got a CPA, because I was like, I don't want to do all this by myself. And that's when I learned a lot with it. But yeah, commingling funds with the business and the personal. Plus, I see you talk
yeah,
about it online a lot too, and I'm always like,
yeah.
yep, yep.
Yeah, I do talk about it a lot because I know so many people do it, and it's so easy. You just go to the store, swipe the card, and think nothing of it. But it's bad, and it's bad for your accounting. And if you're an LLC, it's super bad because you're just piercing the protection of your LLC. And so, aside from that, like they also when they're trying to do it themselves, they don't know like how to do it right. And bookkeeping is so easy to mess up if you don't know the correct terminology, like the words in bookkeeping, like transfers
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And it's very easy to mess up, and especially with accounting software these days, it makes it look easy, but like one little click, and then you keep doing that one little click every day because you don't know, and it messes up a whole month's of bookkeeping. And if you don't know, next thing you know, it's the whole years of bookkeeping.
Yeah. Yeah. When I feel like when there's like QuickBooks and things, it almost gives you like a false, because you feel like, oh, I'm on top of it. I'm keeping this, getting this done. But then if you, like you're saying, like one click and it's done wrong, then you have like this false sense of like I'm doing this, I've got this all taken care of, and then it's not.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So with that, with like commingling funds and all those things, like what's something like, how can they overcome that? Or, what do they need to do to fix that problem if they are someone who is doing that currently?
So commingling funds, I mean, just stop using your business card for everything, right? So, and that's another thing too, is that I do, because a lot of people think that they could just write off anything, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why they use their business card everywhere they go, because they're like, oh, it's a write-off, I'll just claim it. But you can't just write everything off if it has nothing to do with your business. And
Right.
so that's why I don't know if you saw, but I do give out like a free resource guide that just has
I
like a
think I
list
have
of
seen it on
different
there.
deductions. Yeah. And so that way they know that, okay, if I do have this for business, I can write it off. Um, but aside from that, I mean, and aside from hiring a bookkeeper, they can probably like just take a class on how to actually do it, but that's really at their preference. Because in my experience, I find that beauty business owners really don't want to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't blame them. Like, I would rather be working on something like doing lash sets that's making me
Yeah.
money rather than working on my bookkeeping or my taxes, which is probably stressing me out if I was them, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I mean, that was me too. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. It was overwhelming. I was like, I'm just gonna hire this out. And that way I can focus on growing my business in other ways and not on things that drain me and make me want to just like not do it at all.
Exactly. And then that's how it piles up so quick.
Yep, exactly. And I love that you brought up, what counts as an expense and doesn't, because I saw a conversation in a Lash Facebook group this week where someone was asking about like if getting your own lashes done counts as a deduction. So I know my answer on this because I have talked to my CPA about this in depth. I have talked to like another tax professional who specializes in the beauty industry, but I would love to hear your answer on it too. Because there was some conflicting answers and advice, but you've been dealing with this, specifically for what, 5 years now? So let's hear
Yeah.
your answer.
So I come across this a lot. The answer is no.
Yep.
So yeah, I come across this a lot, and tax clients have asked me this that are, beauty business owners. I did have a discovery call earlier this week where she asked if she could write off Botox because that's what she does. She does Botox services, and I had to
Hmm.
tell her no. And it's like, and I think I actually posted about it this week. You probably
Oh,
saw
did
it
you?
too. Yeah. Um,
Probably.
yeah. But I was, I would love to say yes. Like, and that's probably like the only thing I hate about what I do is that I have to like say no to a lot of things like this.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
to
I
your
would
point, it's
love,
probably good.
yeah, but like I would love to say yes because of course I want to help out everybody, right? But we also at the end of the day have to do things right.
Hmm.
And getting like your lashes done, your makeup, doing your hair, stuff like that is not a write-off, even if it's, to your appearance.
Right,
There's been so many tax court cases about it, and the IRS every time disallows it. So why go through the headache to prove
right.
something that's probably going to get disallowed anyway, even if it was for business?
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who want to count it as like a marketing expense, but
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, like you said, it's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. They think it's like advertising, and because you get it, you like, for example, you get your lashes done, go take some photos. Yeah, but you had the photos done for like 1, 2 hours and you're still wearing the lashes for like 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, well, thank you for your explanation on that because I feel like that is just highly debated in the online
Yeah,
space.
it is very much.
Okay, so if a beauty business owner wants to get organized with their books, but they are feeling like overwhelmed or they're not sure where to start, what would your recommendation be for them?
Um, so this is probably going to be a shameless plug, but I
Go
would
for it.
probably I would probably recommend the masterclass that I do every month, and I do it for free, so there's no charge. It's all virtual through Zoom, and I go through like the complete basics of tax and bookkeeping. So, um, like from start to finish, basically, we go through the entity types like sole proprietor, LLC, and S corp, and the differences, because there's a lot of like misinformation online, like TikTok and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure I'm spreading the right information. It's like S corps, for example. People try to do S corps because there's tax savings, but they don't understand that they have to put themselves on payroll, and not everybody can afford to even put themselves on payroll just starting out. So it's, to me, it's never recommended for someone that's just starting a business. Um, and then about opening a business account, streamlining your processes with payment methods, because that also tends to be all over the place because people are using Cash App and Venmo and Zelle and all these different things. And I tell everyone to ditch all of those. Use one payment processor that you like a lot that also has a booking system, because you want people to still be able to book their appointments. So like Square or Gloss Genius, Vagaro, those are the three main ones that I see a lot. I know there's Fresha and Booksy. And then we also just talk about how to prepare themselves for taxes, so that they can be making estimated tax payments and not owe so much money. How to keep things more organized for bookkeeping. And I mean, that's pretty much it. And then also how to pay yourself, because a lot of people get very confused when it comes to paying themselves. And I mean, it's really simple if you're a sole proprietor or LLC, and then S Corp just kind of gets more complicated. But with bookkeeping and stuff, it also helps you to know how much you may want to pay yourself, because you know how good your business is doing.
Right. I love that. I didn't realize that you did that masterclass for free, but I think that that's an amazing resource, especially if you're listening to this and you're just starting out, you're really confused, or struggling or feeling overwhelmed. That sounds like it would be really amazing to just get some basics, get some knowledge, and equip yourself with that. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the IRS doesn't care if you didn't know or not. If you did something
Exactly.
wrong, you did it wrong, and you're going to get penalized for that. So I think it's like our jobs as the business owner to know and take charge of that and be responsible for making sure it gets done correctly, whether that's something we're doing ourselves or hiring someone out and finding someone who knows what they're doing to do it, so we don't have to worry about it.
Right, exactly. And that's true. As people think that, the IRS will just forgive you because you didn't know, but they don't care. If you
Right.
made the money, they want the tax on that money. So,
Yep. 100%. So next question for you. With receipts, what's the best way to keep track of these? Because, I've personally been a person who just like sticks it in the same, like puts all my receipts in the same place, but I always end up with just like this giant pile of receipts at the end of the year.
oh,
Is there
really?
a better way to go about that?
So you keep physical then, like all physical?
So I started doing pictures last year
Okay.
and doing pictures that way, but like I don't know what I mean, you're the one that does it all the time, so I would love to hear, like, I'm picking your brain in a selfish way right now too,
Yeah,
like what's the best way to go about that? Because
yeah,
yeah, like keeping physical receipts is just not it in my
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I've had those clients that drop off like a big box of receipts, and it's not fun.
right. That's yeah, my
So,
CPA is always like, we have people who drop off boxes sometimes and we charge them like by the hour to go through those
yeah.
things.
Yeah, and it's not like just going through it, but then we still have to get back with the client to make sure it's personal or business too. It's a
Right.
lot. So, definitely use a receipt vault, and there's like apps for that. I know QuickBooks has like an add-on to their like self-employed one where you could
Hmm.
upload pictures of your receipts. I use Zero, that's who I'm a certified advisor with, and they also have their own app for that. I think it's called um I can't think of the name right now, but they do have one. And you could just take photos and they will keep that record for you.
Okay.
Um, and then also, you do not have to keep physical copies if you don't want to. Like, if you just want to take that photo, keep it in a folder on your phone or computer, or put it in that receipt vault, then you could go ahead and just throw away the receipt, because the IRS has already said that they do approve of digital copies. So you don't have to have physical. But you definitely, like, what you're saying, like to keep them, you definitely want to do that, because it's just more proof that you did spend the money versus, having a spreadsheet or having it on a report. At least there's proof that you did actually pay for it.
Right, which makes sense because then if you get audited and they're like wanting, additional
Yeah,
documentation, then you have that ready for them.
exactly. And if they want additional documentation, that just the profit and loss itself is not going to suffice. They're going to want bank statements and those receipts.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's digital or physical, I think that, yeah, you got to keep track of those.
Yeah.
So any tips for finding a good bookkeeper or tax preparer? Like, what would your advice be if someone's like in the market for finding someone?
So for me, I would say, like, I think kind of like with anything, social proofing. You want to make sure the person that you're using is like actually legit, because there's so many scammers. You also want to make sure whoever you work with is like communicative and responsive. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell all my clients, like, please, please do not bother to text me. Like, I would literally rather them bother me or, text me whatever before they make a bad decision. And by bad decision, I mostly mean just like spending on something that's probably not a write-off, or
Right.
just doing things incorrectly when it comes to their financials in general. Um, um, Also, with a bookkeeper, you want to make sure that, and your tax preparer too, you want to make sure that they are asking you questions. Because if they are not asking you questions, that's a red flag, because that means that they're just like automatically assuming things are like certain write-offs or deductions and stuff like that. And with hiring a bookkeeper, it takes time to learn like the habits of your business, to know, okay, anytime they do see an Amazon transaction, okay, maybe they're just buying supplies, because I know you guys
Mhm.
buy a lot of supplies, and any girls I've worked with, they do get some of them on Amazon sometimes. And so over time, I'm going to learn that, okay, it is supplies every time, and they're not just accidentally using their business card for something personal.
Right.
So definitely someone that's communicative, responsive, and is asking questions.
I like that. And it's, especially with the communication too, but having communication from both sides, I think is
Yeah,
important, especially when it comes to, getting those taxes filed and stuff.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I know my CPA, I feel like I'm getting like 20 or like 100 questioned when it comes time to file, because they're like always asking me so many questions. So I
Yeah,
like that. I think that I would agree with that, making sure that there's good communication, making sure they're asking questions, and I think that's important, just because you want to make sure who you're working with is doing things correctly for you too, and
exactly.
taking responsibility, because like you said, you would love to say, yeah, you can write that off, but at the end of the day, it's the tax preparer or the CPA or the EA or whoever's doing your taxes. Like, it's their job to make sure that your taxes are filed correctly so
Yeah,
that it can protect you in the long run. So
yeah. I
I
do
love
want to
that
add a
advice.
couple of things actually that just came to mind though.
Oh yeah,
When
let's
it
hear it.
comes mostly like more to taxes, like you want to make sure the person that you're using is not a ghost preparer. And a ghost preparer is someone that is like basically putting on your tax return self-prepared. And that means that they are not
Mm,
signing off on it. They're not putting their name as the paid preparer, right? And so if they're putting self-prepared on there and they're not signing off on it with their information, that usually means that they're doing something wrong. Like they are adding, like inflating your deductions basically to make you either owe less or get a big refund, which you never want, because if you get audited, you can't prove any of it. And if you
right,
can't prove any of it, you're gonna owe all of that money back if it got paid out. Um, and then a couple other red flags would also be someone whose fees are contingent on how your return comes out. So if they're off like promising you a big refund and then their fee is big because of that refund, that's a red flag, because they probably added stuff to charge you more. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it.
those are really good things to know. I did not know people like ghost, well, like you were saying, like a ghost preparer, however you phrase that. Like,
Yeah,
that's so
that's what we call
sketchy.
it
I
in the
can't
tax
believe that.
industry.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's what we call
gosh.
them.
Well, that's good to know and good to look out for. One, especially with beauty business owners, or just business owners who maybe are newer to this, like you were saying, or don't exactly know what they're doing with taxes quite yet. I think, we've got to know what to look out for so we can protect
Yeah,
ourselves and protect our businesses for sure.
yeah.
So, shifting gears here just a little bit, I always love to ask all my guests who are moms about mom life as a business owner, because I don't think it's talked about enough. And something that I'm wanting to do with my business and the podcast a lot more is just bringing in this support for our moms in the industry. So I'm going to pick your brain on this a little bit.
Okay.
So you're also a mom. You have how many kids now?
Two kids.
Two? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so what's your experience been as a mom and a business owner? Do you have any insights for any of the moms who are listening?
Yeah, so I think you can agree. I mean, it's probably the same for you, but it's been pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do think my business has had a slower growth due to it because I'm not as available. but that, I mean, at the same time, that was the whole reason why I started my business, was to be with my kids.
Yep.
And I don't think I would trade that for anything. I want to be available if needed for like doctor's appointments or school pickup and drop off. And that's one thing I've always said. I mean, no hate to anyone that like does school bus, but my kids will never ride a school bus.
Same.
Um,
Like, yeah, like you said, no hate. It's just I want to pick up my kids and drop them off every day. That's just how I want to be.
yeah. And another nice thing that has been with my business is I want to like make my own schedule. I want to go to like the zoo or the river on a random weekday, then I'm gonna go. Like,
Yep.
I think last week we went to the river on Tuesday, which was fun,
Yeah,
you know,
it looked so
and
fun.
yeah, so I mean, I want to be able to do things like that with my kids and not work 9 to 5 or what the schedules are and make memories with them. But it has been rough. I mean, like when I do calls like this on Zooms with people, or when I do my tax consultations or bookkeeping discovery calls, sometimes they're like fighting in the background or screaming, and I'm just like, oh my God, hold on. And but
No,
I tell them ahead of time, like, oh, sorry, you know, I have my kids home with me and I work from home. So, but most people usually understand as long as you just like let them know. And I don't think I've really lost any clientele over it. I think I just had a slower growth because of my availability, but that's fine with me.
right. And that's what I always say too. It's just like I think with being a mom, it's not, I don't know, because it's already hard to grow a business as it is when you're not a mom, but it just
Yeah.
adds like that layer of complexity over the top of it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I can understand that. And I've 100% had podcast interviews where like my kids are, well, like right now, since we're building our house, we are living in our
Yeah.
camper. So I do
Uh-huh.
all my podcast interviews and recordings in my car right now because it's the
Yeah.
only room I have, like room, quote unquote, that I have separate from that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the a couple weeks ago they were like running laps around my car while I was in here, and I'm like, I'm like muting it while the person's talking, like, get inside right now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those things. And I think that's the beauty of having your own business, though, is that you can, set it up around your life and around your kids and what you want,
Yeah.
because you can build your clientele or like your customer base with people who understand that you are a mom and sometimes you will have kids around, or like you will have to reschedule or cancel or whatever for your kids, and that is your priority. And you can go to the lake on a random Tuesday, or be there
Yeah.
to pick up and drop off your kids. And for me, that's the beauty of it too. That's definitely why I got into it as well.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you for sharing all of that.
No problem.
And one more question. So, are you reading any books right now? This is another question I've been asking all my guests lately because I feel like most entrepreneurs are usually reading something. So, I would love to
Yeah.
hear anything that you're reading right now.
Yeah. So there is one book I'm reading right now. This one is not business related. Like I usually do read, you know, the self-development books and entrepreneurial books and stuff like that. But this one that I'm
Hmm.
reading is called Delay, Don't Deny, which is basically it's about intermittent fasting and the
Okay.
science behind it. So like I want to lose a little weight
Hmm.
and um but I can never stick to diets. Like I love food and I especially Mexican food. And
Okay, we're the same. My husband's always like, he never asked me where I want to go because it's always the same answer.
it's always
Mexican food.
Mexican, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I really don't do well with diets, but I've seen a lot online and I'm in like a couple Facebook groups about it too for intermittent fasting and
Hmm.
it can work if you stick with it over a longer period of time. It's not something that's going to be like 1 month or 3 months. It could be a lot longer than that. But yeah, it's basically about the science behind it and like when your body goes into fasting mode and all these scientific terms that I don't even remember right now. But I just kind of thought if I wanted to try it, that if I understood the science behind it, that maybe, you know, I would do better with it, you know?
Totally. Totally. I mean, that's kind of how I am too, where it's like I want to understand the background behind it and how it all works so that it can help me actually execute it for, whether that's
Exactly. Yeah.
with intermittent fasting or business things or mom things or whatever it is, like just knowing the background. So I love that you're doing that for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm
Thank
cheering you
you.
on. That's always a good goal to have, you know?
Yeah.
So any final tips or advice that you would like to share, whether it's on bookkeeping, taxes, mom life, anything else in between?
Yeah, so I mean, anyone that's starting a business and and is also a mom, or just, maybe you're not a mom, but you want to start a business, just give it time, because it takes a really long time for a business to really pick up. And if as long as you're like consistent with it, it'll grow. And then when it comes to like the bookkeeping and stuff, number one, open a business account. Do not commingle. Do not use Cash App and Venmo and all that. I'm just gonna repeat that.
Yes, yes,
And
please do.
deposit all cash and do it right from the start, and you'll be good.
Yep. I love that you said do it right from the start, because once you get in the habit of doing those things, I feel like it's just a lot harder to break once you've
Oh yeah,
been doing it for so long, than to
yeah,
just start out doing it that way from the start.
yeah, definitely. I have a family member that has a business that I do like the taxes and bookkeeping for, and he's never had like a business bank account. He's always just done everything from his personal account, and I'm just like, you got to stop that. Like, all you have to do is open another account and then transfer yourself money when you need it. But it's so hard when you already been intertwining your funds for so long and you need it right away all the time and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And that's just part of getting in good habits with your business, whether it's with lashing
Exactly.
technique or your marketing or your bookkeeping. Got to work on those good
Yeah.
habits.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I loved talking with you. So where can they find you online to connect with you?
Yeah, and thank you for having me, by the way. I really appreciate it.
Of
Yeah, so
course.
I am pretty active on all social media, but I have Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is at Galan Consulting. My Facebook is just Cassandra Galan. And then I do also have a website. Like if anyone wanted to check it out, it's cassandragalan.com.
Okay, perfect. So I'll put all her links to her social media in the show notes. And then you said you had that free guide and the free master classes too, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I'm going to put those in the show notes for you guys too, so that you have those resources to refer to if you would like to. But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Great. Thank you so much.